Hello guys, so today I could give you some information about the Old Quarter. Firstly, we will talk about the history of Thăng Long, Hanoi. In 1010, the kingly title decided to move the capital from Hoa Lu to Đại La Citadel, and after he saw a cloud in the sky resembling a dragon flying south to the heavens, he decided to rename the sign Thăng Long, it means dragons fly south. And to the time, Thăng Long has many names like Đông Quan, Tây Đô or Đông Đô. And in 1802, when the Nguyen dynasty were established, the King Thăng Long moved the capital from Thăng Long to Huế province, and Thăng Long was no longer the capital. And in the 1831, the King Minh Mạng decided to rename the site Hanoi based on the geographical position. And until now, Hanoi became the capital of Vietnam one more time. Next, when and how was the Old Quarter first established? The Old Quarter history will date back to the 11th century when the King Đại moved the capital from Hoa Lu to Thăng Long, Hanoi. And after his historical decision, many craftsmen gathered around the royal palace in order to sell their products. And through the time, organized themselves into the craft cooperatives and guilds. And inhabitants from the same village flocked together and operate on the same street, making the street to have a homogeneous look. And all the streets that developed here are called hang, which means merchandise or shop, and followed by the name of the particular goods like hàng bạc silver products, hàng mã paper products, and hàng muối soap products. And the development of the Old Quarter in different periods. The residential and commercial area that is now Old Quarter came to be during Lý and Trần dynasty and was then located east of the Thăng Long Imperial Citadel and along the Red River. During the late dynasty, scholar Nguyễn Trãi already mentioned some of areas each specialized in one particular trade. It was then surrounded by the defensive wall with several gates. And during the Lý and Trần dynasty, many people from surrounding plains migrated to the city and settled in settled in what is now in the Old Quarter, creating the densest urban area of the city. And the late dynasty emperor saw addition influx of Chinese inhabitants who arrived to trade and creating several Chinese neighborhoods. And when the French ruled over Vietnam, they partially rebuilt the area, and this period saw many French and Indians settle down there to conduct business, and two small markets were demolished to build the Sun Market. And furthermore, the tramway were conducted to the quarter. And this the area is still Old Quarter, the densest street in Vietnam. The ancient streets in the Old Quarter established. Firstly, the shops were blossomed without order, and people flocked into the quarter to match sometimes made the trading confused and chaotic. And gradually, the shoppers found out that if they sold quite the same things, they had better make their shop next to each other, and the buyers would easier to go to their shop to buy goods. And hence, each street in the Old Quarter show a type of goods, and to make the trading more convenient, both the seller and the shopper and the buyers call the streets as the name goods showing it. For example, they add hàng, meaning item in the front of the main goods in various street. Hàng mắm, so fresh short, hàng thiếc, so ironware. And there were 36 prominent trading streets among 76 streets of the Old Quarter. The meaning of the street's name in the Old Quarter All the streets that develop here are called hang, which means merchandise or shop, and followed by the name of their particular product, such as hang bạc, silver product, hang mát, paper product, and hang đường, a sugar product. And the next question is, why are trees on trees painted with lime? The trees on the trees painted with lime because it is an effective measure to protect plants from attack by virus, insect, and certain types of harmful virus and bacteria that affect the growth and the development of the plants. The next question is Heritage House at No 87 Mame Street present the house history and usage in different periods. The house was built in 1890 in the 19th century, serving the purpose of living and running business. And the house owners have changed many times since the construction date. And before 1945, the house the owners of the house was a famous rice trader, and after that he sold the house to the medicine businessman, and this owner lived here for 10 years, and then he was making away and leaving the house abandoned for short times, and the government allocated the place at 87 Mame to 5 families, and the French and Vietnamese people once repaired the house in the late 90s, and all the material building were kept intact. And after restoration, 100 people committee in charge of house management put the house into tourist US ancient architecture model. Is why the house have a tube shaft with a total area of 157.6 square meter and a long narrow tube shaft divided into sections to serve all family needs, commerce and residence, with the end broader front. The house structure indicate people's thought in the past build house with a blooming black land, and with it will bring the owner fortune and joy in the future. And Mame ancient house followed the traditional tube house structure with many layers, which was typical during that time. And the next question is why the house in the old quarter very narrow? Because during the Nguyen Dynasty, the Nguyen Dynasty's taxation policy, which taxed business based on the width of their storefronts, regardless of the scale of their trade. To reduce tax, many families with wide storefronts saw up proportions to lower their tax burden. What are the traditional Vietnamese architectural details in the ancient house? The house has two main floors with a central courtyard and small mezzanine. On the first floor, the outermost room closest to the street, it is used as the goods displaying and selling place, crossing the yard in between, and it is the living area of the family. The innermost part of a house is a kitchen and toilet place. The small courtyard in the middle of the house, lined with bachang brick, is a place for ventilation and lighting of the whole land. A family is to live here had decorated the yard with bonsais and drinking table, made use the empty space for resting and moon watching. And the second floor, the outer room is used as a worship corner and was where the owner is to welcome guests. And inside there are sofa and teapot set placed above. The inner part of the second floor is the bedrooms, a small place between two sections, adorned with floral and vegetation pots, creates a bond with nature. And the furniture of the house is mainly gold, ceramic, and bamboo saws. These two-story houses were built from iron wood combined with terracotta bricks, and holy creature tile roof, and large frame doors stepping inside Mama's ancient house. The gate wheels immediately fell the side of the times, separated from the outside crowd. Present the significance of Vietnamese traditional kitchen and family meal. Meaningful and enjoyable, the family meals in Vietnam have long been the unforgettable images in Vietnamese minds. While the mother is preparing food, father is watching TV, kids are playing, and grandparents are reading books or doing something else. The happy atmosphere during the family meal and other similar family gathering seem to be the most beautiful and memorable moments. And the typical Vietnamese family meals, what's on the table? Traditionally, members of family will sit around a table that embodies the attachment among them. As they are sharing meals, they have to support, protect, and help each other regardless whatever. And the tool that Vietnamese use to eat can be chopstick and spoons. And as Persian will use a pair of chopsticks to take food, which makes chopstick is the indispensable item on the table. And often on the table of the typical Vietnamese family meal is the common Vietnamese food such as rice, pork, egg, and vegetable. Similar to other Asian countries, rice is the main dish in the meal, and some local elders felt that it is just half finished if um, in the dining table lack of cooked rice. The traditional design adorned with simple yet refined details. The kitchens in Vietnam village invoke a sense of charm and elegance. The Vietnamese kitchen utensil, pots, and pans are crafted from rustic materials such as copper, iron, and wood that contribute to the warm and intimate ambience. And wood fired stoves. These stoves hold a special place in the hearts of cooks in Vietnamese villages as they preserve the nature flavors of the dish. The crackling fire would infuse each delicacy with a unique smoky incense, adding depth and character to meals. And communal cooking. In rural regions, the cooking area can be quite spacious, allowing multiple individuals to work together. This promotes interaction and nurtures the bond among family members. The next question is the meaning of the door threshold in the ancient Vietnamese architecture. The door threshold dividing the outside and inside space. The most visible meaning of threshold is the separation between inside and outside of house. The door's threshold prevent animals and livestock from entering the home. In traditional three-compartment house, the threshold was often built high to stop pigs and the kitchen from getting inside. This also had a practical significance closely tied to daily life of the people. And the second is it also symbolize respect from visiting guests. A high threshold makes guests pay attention to their steps, causing them to lower their heads to avoid tripping. And this act of lowering the head service as a greeting show respect to the host. The door threshold also the meaning of keeping good and bad things within the house. When the clean house, the stops at the threshold to be gathered to and disposed of rather than be swept directly outside. And this symbolizes that good and bad matters remain within the boundaries of the home. Next is present the history, tradition, and significance of ancestor worship in the Vietnamese culture. Why do Vietnamese people worship ancestor? About the history, for Vietnamese, ancestor worship is not related to gods spiritual tourism, or even the supernatural in the Western sense. It is not even the belief in the sense that it is open to the question by the believers. The Vietnamese accept as a fact that the ancestors continue to live another realm, and that it is duty of the living to meet their needs, and it return the ancestor give advice and bring us fortune. And check how about the tradition? Ancestor worship, an ancient Vietnamese tradition. It is a ritual practice paying tribute to deceased family members and reminding people of their roots. Most Vietnamese families have an ancestral altar placed in a prominent place of the house. The ancestral altar is set with ancestral type tablets and pictures together with an incense burner bowl in the center as a symbol of the stars. Inside the bowl usually stands a circular incense stick that represent the universe, and two candles are placed on the side of the altar to embody the sun left and the moon right. How about the significance? It expresses sincere reverence and principle of drinking water, remember the soul, showing gratitude to ancestors, grandparents, and parents who gave birth and built a life for their descendants. Those who belong to the first generation for a family lineage, and for the grandparents and parents who have passed away. And why do Vietnamese people worship ancestors? For Vietnamese people accept as a fact that their ancestors continue to live another realm, and that it is the duty of the living to meet their needs. In return, the ancestor give advice and bring a good fortune. Next is present the theory of five elements and how the Vietnamese have incorporated with the philosophy in family altars. There are five elements are wood, fire, earth, metal, and water, and they are connected in the circle of creation, destruction, and transformation. The generating circle is the wood feeds fire, fire produces earth, the earth bears metal, the metal collects water, and the water nourishes wood. And the reverse generating circle is wood deplete water, water rusts metal, and metal impoverishes earth, and earth smoothers fire, and last is the fire burn wood. And how the Vietnamese people use the five elements to the worship. The metal, all the altar metal can be represented by the bronze tray, a set of bronze incense burners, gold plated details on the ceramics, and wood. Most families chose wooden altars, so the wood itself represents the wood element. Water is represent the vase, bowls, and castles on the altar. And fire is represented by objects used in the worship that involve fire, such as oil lamps, electric lamps, candles, and incense lit on the full moon, the first day of the moon, of the month, and during holidays. Earth. Earth is represented by the ceramic incense burner or flower vase, as well as the ash in the incense burner. Present the meaning of the following offering on an altar: burning incense, candle, and oil lamp, flower, fruit, and water. The meaning of burning incense for Vietnamese, an incense stick is not a simple object; it is a sacred element, and the smoke of the incense stick is considered as a sacred bridge between the visible life of human beings and spiritual life of earth, heaven, and gods. It is half connecting the world of the living and the one of the descendants, and grandchildren light incense to express their respect and remembrance for their grandparents an ancestor. Candle and oil lamp. According to Feng Shui, using an oil lamp is considered protective talisman, preventing negative energies from entering and warding off evil spirits, spells. It helps ensure that spirits being worshipped, deities, ancestors, are not deterred and blocked from residing. But fruit, symbolizing growth and prosperity. And the fruit child represents the growth, abundance, and prosperity of the family. And flower is placing flowers on both sides of the altar creates a sense of solemnity and elegance in the worship space. About the water symbolizing the water element on the altar. Additionally, in the feng shui, water represents wealth as well as the flow of the fortune that brings prosperity and good luck to the family. Next is present the meaning of the model in which flamingo standing on the turtle. In the folk beliefs, the turtles and the flamingo are considered very close companions. When heavy rains and floods submerge large areas, the turtle helps the flamingo cross the flood region to reach dry land. And conversely, during the times of drought, the flamingo could take the turtle to areas where the water was available. Thus, the image of the turtle and the flamingo always staying together symbolize longevity, loyalty, and mutual support during times of hardship and adversity. Question 3.5. Why do your people burn votive paper products? In your opinion, is the exercise a good or evil custom? Should you keep burning votive papers products? The votive paper offerings, which are burned throughout the year during the special religious occasions, but most during days symbolizing how family members continue to remember and care for the seed as well as the gods and spirits. Offering include money, god, daily essentials like clothes, sometimes even luxuries like house, private jets, cars, and smartphones, and all made of paper. This way, people can ensure a good life for their deceased loved one in the heavens. We burn this for our dead relatives that they felt happy, and if they happy, they will bless us with good health, happiness, and luck. And in my opinion, the burning of votive paper is beautiful traditional custom of Vietnamese people, expressing respect and remembrance for deceased. However, the extensive use of votive paper burning not only leads to waste, but also seriously affect the environment due to the smoke emissions. Question about the coffee. Present the history of the coffee. The history of coffee dates back a century in Ethiopia and Yemen. It was already known in Mecca in the 15th century. Also, it is in the 15th century in the Yemen employed in coffee as an aid to concentration during the prayer. And through the time, coffee is more developed. And by 1852, Brazil became the world's largest producer of coffee and has held that status ever since. The previous in 1950 saw the widening of the playing field owing to the emergence of several other major producers like Ethiopia and Vietnam, and later overlooked Colombia and became the second largest producer in the 1999. Modern production technique along with the mass productization of coffee has made it a household item today. Present the origin and history of coffee in Vietnam. French and missionaries brought Africa coffee to Vietnam in 1857. It was the first planted near the churches in the northern and central province. Then it was planted in the south of the Central Highlands and the southeastern region also. And it was discovered that the time Central Highlands were the most suitable place to grow coffee. And it, in 1908, the French brought Robusta and Isola coffee to Vietnam to Central Highlands. And at the end of the 1990s, Vietnam became the leading coffee producer in the Southeast Asia and the ranked second in the world after Brazil. Vietnam produced mostly Robusta coffee. Today, it is estimated that Vietnam produced 20% of the world's coffee and 40% of all Robusta. Uh, what about the difference between the Vietnamese coffee and regular coffee in the world? The main difference between Vietnamese coffee and regular coffee is that Vietnamese coffee tends to be stronger and bitter than regular coffee, and Vietnamese coffee is rich, flavorful, and sweet coffee brewed from Vietnamese coffee beans using a special filter. It differs from regular coffee in terms of its flavors, profiles, and brewing method. In fact, Vietnamese coffee is made with a special metal filter. Make presentation on Tang Coffee. The Coffee Sang is one of the most famous traditional coffee shop in Hanoi, located on the east side of the Old Quarter. Opened in the 1946, the coffee was named after its founder, Nguyen Sang, bartender at the Colonial Hotel in the French Quarter. Thought coffee shops across the city now serve air coffee. Coffee Sang claimed to have invented the drink Nguyen Chi Hoa. The current owner of the Coffee Sang revealed that when the resistance against the French kicked off the First Indochina War in the late 1946, his father got no choice but to relinquish his job at Sofitel Legend Hanoi Hotel and opened a coffee at home, and to enjoy the strong and bitter French pressed Robusta coffee. Both coffee makers and local drinkers in Vietnam rely on the steady stream in Western condensed milk to balance it out. The trick that make Vietnamese coffee today. But what happens when the milk runs out? Shortly after the opening his older coffee, Dan faced the question when the milk shortage was caused by the war, and with the clever hack whisking in egg yolk as a much needed substitute for dairy product. Surprisingly, he created a frothy cup of egg coffee resembling a liquefied tiramisu. And Hoa reaffirmed his father's egg coffee recipe remains the same today. Raw chicken egg yolk, Vietnamese Robusta coffee, sweetened condensed milk, butter, and cold cheese. The coffee is firstly brewed in the cup before adding the well-whisked mixture of those simple ingredients. And make the presentation on how to make a coffee. Ingredients: 1 egg, 3 teaspoons of Vietnamese coffee powder, teaspoon of sweetened condensed milk, boiling water, and recipe. Brew a small cup of Vietnamese coffee, crack an egg and separate the yolk from the whites, and discard the whites. Put the yolk and the sweetened condensed milk in a small deep bowl and whisk vigorously until you end off and fluffy mixture like the one above. Add a tablespoon of the brewed coffee and whisk it in a clear coffee. We're going to stick here, pour in your brewed coffee, then add the fluffy egg mixture on top. Thus you have the egg coffee.